Hey, what's going on, you guys? Today I'm going to show you a tutorial about making pre-visualization for a film, for a scene, for a story. But of course, this can also be applied to cutscenes within video games. But I want to take the approach from a filmmaker's perspective of how I can write a scene and then very quickly have that materialized. So I've got a scene here that I wrote. It takes place inside of a gladiator arena, and we have two characters, Lee and Jordy. They're teenagers. They're like taggers, you know. They're in this ancient kind of stadium. So yeah, this time takes place in present day. We don't know where. Maybe Rome. I don't know. Yeah, it would have to be Rome, right? Since there's a Colosseum there. But anyways, these two kids, they go in. They start tagging up, and then Jordy, the friend, walks off to take a piss. And so Lee's finishing his thing, but then suddenly this like strange being shows up, like a scary ghoul. You'll see what I'm talking about. And chases Lee, yeah, and Lee falls over, and then the ghoul tells him, "Are you Lee?" He's like, "Yes, come with me. We don't have much time." And then cut to black. So this is just like a quick teaser to show the creature, and to show really just the tutorial. I kind of just wrote this scene really quick to do this. But yeah, let's jump right into it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first launch a project. Just a quick note about this tutorial. This is really made for beginners, but not complete beginners. So you should have some, you should know how to navigate inside Unreal. You should know about the Epic Marketplace, the launcher. You should know how to open up a project, and the really basics. I'm gonna leave a couple links of like tutorials that will run through the basics of Unreal Engine, so you can kind of like watch that and then come back to this tutorial. Okay, here we have Unreal Engine opened up, and I'm just gonna go, and I actually like to use this one, the third person template in games. But you can actually use any of these templates, for film and TV. If you're going to be doing virtual production, you can do that. But for me, I like this just because sometimes I like to actually get into the game mode and start building out a game, which I can talk about a little bit later on. But here I'm going to name my project Gladiator. Save it in here. Okay, third person template. I'm gonna go back into the Epic Marketplace, which should be in here. So with my project already open here, now I'm gonna go and add, what is it, Arena? No, Arena. Okay, Gladiator Arena, add to project. Gladiator. Alright, so we've added our pack here. You'll see it, it's in your content folder, Arena. And let's just look at the demonstration. That's what we want. Yes. Aha! Now we've got a nice little scene here. And now I can kind of just go around and location scout, right? Like, let's look at our location here. Whoa, that's pretty cool. It's a small little arena. This is like not really the Colosseum, but then again, I think this works better. I didn't really want the Colosseum because the kids, they're gonna come through here. No, they're not gonna come through. Oh, whoa, what's this? Scary. You can go through walls. Oh, this is cool. I like how the light comes through the windows up there. But too bad this is not built out. But I do like that kind of effect. because here the light is like completely pouring in. And actually for our scene, I don't want it to be this bright. I think I want to maybe just turn this down just a notch, maybe to like 13. No, it's about 10. And I'm going to change the color here a little bit just to give it maybe kind of like a bluish tint. Because I want it to feel a little bit, you know, spooky. And cold. Oh, that might be too blue. Maybe like that. Okay, so they could be coming in and doing the graffiti. Yeah, I mean, when we were introduced to them already, they're already doing the graffiti, so let's find a spot that looks nice. I don't want them to be in the light or anything like that. I think they should be maybe like around here. Yeah, let's just say we'll put them here for now, and then we can always change our mind later. So, 2 kids, they're gonna be right here. I actually don't have the characters yet, but really quickly we can. Where's the Manny? We can bring in our Mannies, or Quins even. You know, what'd be cool is like if one of the characters was like if Jordy was actually a girl, because we don't really see that many girls like being taggers, but there are, you know, and they're really dope. So maybe Jordy can actually be a girl. So we use Quinn. I mean, these are adult characters, but did I even pull in the right one? There should be a skeletal mesh. Okay, so we got Quinn in there, and let's just bring in Manny. So these are just our stand-ins for now, until we actually get our own characters. I'm thinking, I was looking for some on Sketchfab, but maybe I'll do a metahuman. Although the metahumans are a little bit more performance heavy. But so, okay, for now we have our actors here. They're tagging it up, and then this person's gonna walk off. Or, yeah, she's gonna walk off. And then, you know, he's gonna be here. And then, you know, when he turns around for the part where the ghoul is here, the ghoul's gonna be standing like, not in the light, but maybe like over here. And he's gonna be like, oh shit. And then he'll run over this way, and then kind of get chased and maybe trip over this thing. Trip over this thing so that we see the ghoul from this angle. So the ghoul will be standing with that in the background, so we can see all of that. You know, I'm not really an action director or anything, but it's pretty nice to, we'll just do that for demonstration purposes. But I really like exploring the map first, because you never know, there could be a really interesting spot. And this is what you would do on like a live action location scout, right? Like walk around and see, kind of like, oh, what if he was being chased up here? What if they were doing, oh, you know what if they were tagging this area up? They're tagging that up, and then like sees the ghoul kind of like standing over there or something. Actually no, you know what, I like it down here. But we could, I mean, if you really built this out to be a bigger scene, you could totally use so many cool areas of this. But anyways, we have our actors here now, or our stand-ins at least. And this one is basically where the ghoul is going to be. And from here I can already kind of like, just, you know, audition some shots. But we'll really get into this in a second here. Let's have our kind of our placeholders right here. So they're gonna be doing graffiti. Let's look at our scene. We're inside of what was once a glorious arena. Da, da, da. It says they're sitting, but they shouldn't be sitting. They should already be tagging this up. So they're tagging it up. You know what would be cool is like, what if let's look at our opening shot. What if our opening shot was like coming from up here? Ooh, look at that. Kind of like going by the rocks. And then kind of stop there. Okay, so let's start getting this started. Get out of this. I'm gonna make a new folder. And call it cinematics. Right click, cinematics, level sequence, ls underscore. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna call it Gladiator teaser. I'm only gonna use one level sequence. Well, let's see how far we get with this. Come in here, I'm gonna click here to add a little camera, and immediately you'll see this cinema camera get acted. And this little lightning bolt means that this is it's spawnable, meaning it only exists inside of this sequence. So when we pop out of the sequence, this camera won't be there. Whereas if it's possessible, then it's gonna always be in the map. And right now I'm actually piloting the camera. So if you don't want to pilot the camera, you can hit that and you can, explore again. And if you want to get into that mode again, come down here, click that, and you'll pilot the camera again. So let's pilot our camera and find kind of like where we want to be, right here. Yeah, and let's see what lens we want to be on here, right? Go with a 50 maybe. Nah, I think I actually like 35. Okay, maybe like we'll start right here for now. Okay, and I'm gonna hit this little keyframe here. Actually, I like to change this already, just because I want to be in 24 frames per second. I'm gonna hit that, so it makes a key essentially for all the transform. And then we can scroll on the timeline. Maybe at that point, that's when the shot ends. So if I turn that on, it'll actually make the keys for me in the future. Okay, so that's kind of our opening shot. Let me just make that a little more. It kind of gives it like a mysterious feeling of like, oh, where are we? What's going on here? And then the next shot will cut to, let's just bring in another camera. Camera 2. Reset this rotation. So I basically just reset the rotation because it kept giving a weird orientation on my camera. And then maybe the next shot will be, we want to be a little bit wider. Go with like 30. Maybe even like, it was on a 20. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so I feel like we want to do a shot here, just to kind of see like what they're tagging and everything. And this is all just kind of like playing around for your shots. So let's say, yeah, you know what, let's do a shot like here and keyframe that. And I don't really want that much movement on here. I think I just want to see them doing the graffiti. Although I do like having a little bit of camera movement. Even if it's just like that much. Well, let's make this shot a little bit longer. Okay, and the reason why is we're actually only looking at this camera, so if we clicked on this viewport button, now we see the entire, both shots, right? And actually we have to put in our camera 2, click this little add button, and select that, and then see how it kind of put in this camera? So now it's 2 shots and it cuts, right? Got that first shot, and then it cuts to here. Alright, so I think for this first tutorial, we're just going to do these 2 shots, and then we'll kind of work on the other stuff, because it will get a little bit more complicated. But from these 2 shots, you can kind of get your foundational skills that you need to really build out the entire sequence. So one thing you notice, like the way that the camera is moving, because it's on a different type of interpolation. So what I want to do is, I want to get my keys here. I'm going to click this. Wait, is it that one? No, actually. Yeah, it should be. I gotta find, where are they? Okay, now you gotta select them over here. Alright, select those keys. And you don't want to use this. This is good for some stuff, but if we're trying to mimic like a real world camera move, it should be linear so that it's not, you know, being interpolated as it kind of like comes to the end, because it will kind of slow down, whatever. So if we change this, it looks like a little triangle. Now let's look at that camera move. Now it's like a consistent, you know, and you see how this one is slowly kind of starts off. We also want to change that one. So to do that, go into the second camera, transform, and you know, you can scroll on your mouse wheel to kind of get a better view here. But essentially all these keyframes, they need to be linear. Okay. Now, and remember to save. I'm just holding Control Shift and S because Unreal will crash. If you didn't know that already. Okay, but you see how it already, I wanted the movement to have started already. And the way I can do that is I'll just move these keys over so that when the shot, it's already started, right? Okay, so I want to kind of get out of this so I can see the entire world. It'll be nice to maybe boost up the fog slightly. You have to manually change this. 0.1. 0.2. Well, yeah, that definitely got super foggy. You can see a little bit of it here. And to go back into our sequence, you basically just come here. And then we have this character in the background. So why don't we just get a quick shot? He's gonna turn around. Do we want to do an over the shoulder shot on this character, or do we want to do kind of like a hero? I mean, he's not really a hero. Well, I guess he is. He could be the hero in the story, because you know, at the end of the script, you realize he's actually somewhat of a, yeah, like a hero. Like he's like, come with me if you want to live. So maybe the shot should be like this, right? So you could actually start a new level sequence if you want, and then combine all of them into a master sequence. And yeah, that gets a little bit more into some of the workflow stuff. But you know what? Let me show you how to do it that way, because ultimately that's probably the best way to do it. Cool. You can name these, like if you want to name it 1, 2, 3, 4, so you have an idea based off your shot list. Probably want to do that. For me, I'm not as organized. So for this ghoul shot, I don't want it to be too tight. Maybe on a 30. I want it to be like low angle to show how massive he is or how scary he is. Probably. At least not too low, but catching a little bit of the rays up there maybe. But you know what, sometimes it's scary when you see like a figure, like a wide shot, you know? Let's just put the camera here for now, and we'll get this going later. But yeah, let's do this. Set the camera there. And you know what, we're not gonna do any movement on this camera. Let's just have it be a static camera. And I'm actually gonna now replace our stand-in with the actual character because I found the character. You're gonna love it. It's sick. Let me show you guys. Alright, so I wasn't even gonna do this Gladiator Arena scene until I saw this character when I opened up Sketchfab, and I was like, oh, okay, well we have this character. Put him in the scene. So it's from Tezcon. Pretty dope artist, I would have to say. He's got a bunch of these other free ancient type characters, which is stuff I love. Whoa, what is this one? Yeah, he's got a bunch of these ancient characters. So, like, my thing is really ancient. I love ancient stuff, but also ancient with technology kind of stuff. Like ancient technology, I guess. But this guy, I mean, that's sick. Look at this. And you can use this for commercial or non-commercial projects. He's just like letting people use these characters for free, which is amazing. You know, want to donate to his Patreon, definitely hit him up right here. I'm gonna go back to, I don't know, should we use this character instead? This guy looks crazy, but I don't know what the heck that is. So when you click on more information here, you can kind of see the details. So this is actually a rigged character with morph geometries. Wow. Okay, but let's go back to, maybe this could be like the boss character, because there's going to be a whole world of these ancient characters, right? And now I'm coming up with the entire storyline. So just to let you guys know, I literally wrote this scene like 5 minutes before I started recording this, just based off the Gladiator Arena that I saw, that I actually didn't even explore yet, but then also seeing this character, and then I thought, oh, we could have two teenagers kind of get, you know, like a young adult, you know, YA genre type, you know, like a fantasy type storyline. Anyways, you guys are waiting for me to download this. I already downloaded this file. It's gonna come in folders like this. So you got the textures. Holy crap. Okay, he's got a bunch of textures. And you got an FBX. So let's do this. I'm gonna save, make sure everything's always saved. Characters. Call him Vlad, because that's what he named him as. Just gonna grab the FBX file and just drag it over. Let go. We'll import the skeletal mesh, import mesh. You know what, just reset to default. If he had animations with him, I would do that, but right now we're actually gonna create our own animations. Create new material. Sure, let's see what happens. Most of the time this stuff doesn't really come in correctly, and I'll show you how to redo all the materials, textures on this character. I'm not sure what all that is. It's always like these error messages when you import this stuff. The only way to really know is if you go in here. Okay, so we have our skeletal mesh in here. Now we just need to rebuild the materials. So let's do another folder. Textures. I'm just gonna basically grab all of those PNG files that were in the texture folder. Same thing, drag them over. Like I said, drag them over. Okay, shit, it's probably gonna double it up now because I did it twice. Yeah, just ignore all these messages. Hopefully it didn't double it. Okay, I don't think it did. Alright, so now this is going to get a little tedious. I'll probably fast forward through this, but I want to show you how to do one of these at least. So you can create, like if you didn't import with materials, you can go here and create material. Essentially that's what these are. They're just blank materials. So let's start with the head. Double click on that. And then with the textures folder open, I'm basically gonna drag in, where is it, head. Head, anything with head. Anything labeled head. Head. These. Okay, these are all the heads. Drag these in. And you're going to repeat this for all of the other materials, all of his other body parts. But I'm going to show you how to do it on this one first. Okay, just I'm going to delete this. That's just a bullshit base color. So when you click on each of these, you can see what it is from here. Height, that's the height map. But let's find the color first, or albedo. This roughness. Whoa, 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 what just happened? Okay. I think I expanded this. Base color, see how this base color? You can always tell kind of because it's actually the actual color and everything. Drag from RGB into base color. This one, height map. Height. Sometimes some of these aren't even going to be used. Actually, I don't really usually use this. Sometimes it might go in here, but I don't think so. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it looks like. It is metallic. Mixed AO, ambient occlusion. Okay, this one always is like the normal map. It looks like the bluish, weird color, normal. And here's the roughness. And it doesn't really matter where these are placed. Just kind of organize it a little bit. Roughness. So we've got everything except for this height map. Which, yeah, I mean, I might try to plug it in there, but let's hit apply, save. You see this character, he has his head on already. That looks pretty good. I don't think we even need that height, whatever it is. Okay, so repeat for all of them, and then we'll come back. Alright, you guys, if you've done your materials correctly, you'll see your character should look like this. And right here, you know, I'm just in the skeletal mesh. Right here, you'll see the material slots. So if you click isolate, you can see what that is. So if you have another character later on, and you're like, hey, where is that, or whatever, you can always just see how the materials are. You can change the materials too. If you have a different material you wanted to apply, you would just, you know, go in there and search that. So now that we have our Glad character finished, what we're gonna do is go into the Glad folder, and you have the skeletal mesh right here, and I'm just gonna drag the character in. Bam! Damn, this guy is huge. That's another thing that's good to have these little mannequins, because they're actually, you know, scaled to the right size. So do we want our character looking this big, like he's like a giant? That's actually kind of interesting if he's a giant, you know? Oh shit, you know what? We're piloting the camera, which I actually don't want to be. See how I'm piloting the camera? Because I actually wanted this camera, so I'll just delete that keyframe right there, and then this camera should stay put. I want to be here because I want to look at this giant. Okay, well, do we want him to be that big? Maybe just slightly smaller. So make sure this scale is like that. Maybe just like 0.8. I mean, you know, the teenager is gonna be like not even this tall as the mannequin, so I think this is a pretty good size for this gladiator. It's like a freaking giant though, maybe 0.75. Okay, now we can delete Quinn, and we actually go here into the viewport. So now this is what he's gonna look like. This is the framing. Let's make sure that we're in focus here. So if you click on that, in the details panel here, you can change the focus settings. So you can just grab this and kind of play around like that, but sometimes it's hard to really know where it is, right? So then you want to check this little debug focus plane. It's not doing it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you want it to be kind of like cutting him almost like in half. So this is all in focus. Yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to be able to tell because we're on a pretty wide lens here. But yeah, no, this looks good. So, you know, you notice he's standing in this T pose or A pose. We're going to change that just in a second here to give him at least a cool looking pose. Because I don't like how he's just standing there. So click on this guy, and he's in the outliner, but we actually want him to be in our sequence. So what you'll do is just grab this, drag it into your sequencer, drop it, and let's make this, you know what, no, we'll leave it possessable. So you could right click and convert to spawnable if you don't want, you know, if you have a bunch of actors and you don't want to see them in other shots. That's how you would do that. But there are some reasons to have it be possessable as well. That's related to constraints and the control rig, which we're not going to be doing too much of. It's more advanced stuff. But if you click on this guy here, animation mode, well, he has nothing. So let's give him some animations to use. Let me just use what's in our the engine already. So in your starter content, there should already be, or I think it's in the third person. Where is it? Come on, I know we have animations here. So I'm just using a filter system, animation sequence. And you'll see that there's some animations that we have that came in, I believe, the third person template, or is it starter, or in the engine? Huh, I don't know, but it's in content. Oh, it's probably came in the mannequins. So what we're gonna have to do, because this character has a custom skeleton, we're gonna have to retarget the animations from, you know, the Epic Games Quinn over to ours right here. Let's look at our save this. Anytime there's an asterisk, it means it's not saved, so you always want to save. You can actually come down here and save as well. Okay, we're gonna first, let's look at the skeleton. So if you you go here, that's the actual skeleton. Because sometimes if they made it kind of to the same as the Epic Games skeleton, then you can actually easily just make it a compatible skeleton by going to Assets, or I think it's Windows, Asset Details. This thing pops up, and then you can actually just add compatible skeleton, and you would say it's compatible with, you know, the SK mannequin. But I don't think that's going to work. Let's try it though, just to show you how this would work. And then we come here, and now you'll see there's animations, because now we told the Unreal Engine that those two skeletons are the same. So, but we'll know very quickly if that's the case or not. So let's go to the idle animation. And nothing's happening. Can even go here. Let's go here. Yeah, nothing's happening. So I don't think that's actually working. Well, yeah, that definitely is not working. So I don't think that's actually a compatible skeleton. And it doesn't really, yeah, the way it's named. So let's do an actual retargeting. Okay, so this is the part, it's going to get a little tedious, but what we're going to have to do, and this is something you'll need to know for other projects for sure. This is like a very important process. You're going to go here, right click, create IK rig. So that'll create an IK rig file, and you still have to go in here, and now we have to set it up. So let's see. Okay, this guy's skeleton's a little tricky because he's got a hip and a pelvis. Okay, we're gonna go with the pelvis and see what happens. Set retarget root. Okay, you'll see it pop up like that. And then we're basically gonna create chains to map out this guy's skeleton into a series of chains. So thigh to the foot. Oh no, we don't want it to go all the way there. Let's just go thigh to the foot. Thigh to the foot. Just do that. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So new retarget chain, and then chain name, left leg. So you're gonna, I'm just gonna show you the basic one. You could create goals for this if it's to make it a little bit better, but that's a little bit more advanced, and it'll take a little bit longer. So I'm not gonna do that. But yeah. Okay. And then we're gonna go down here, and this is, you're gonna have to read the name, how they named it, toe, pinky toe. So yeah, we definitely don't, like, all the toes are rigged, that's crazy. So we don't care about any of the toes, we're not even gonna see his toes, it's covered in a shoe. With the twist bones, we don't really care about that, we just want, let's go to the other leg. So right thigh to right foot. Right click, new retarget chain, add chain. Okay, so what's happening now is because there's some twist bones that kind of got grouped in there. Let me delete that one. You basically want this last one to be the foot, so it matches up with the other one. Okay, skip all the toes. It's got a waist. It's crazy. Waist, spine. Okay, so the waist is kind of like spine. Whoa. Interesting. He's got a very interesting skeletal system. Well, okay, let's see what happens here. New retarget chain. That's the spine. Then we want to do one for the head. So head, and then to the neck. So I think usually it's like neck and then head. So we'll do that as the head link. And the spine one, I'm actually going to bump this one to include that neck twist as well. His face is rigged, at least with, but not with morphs or anything. They're all just these bones, so you could actually animate his face, which would be pretty cool to be able to animate that. But let's go to the clavicle. So we'll do, I mean, let me just do it this way because it's kind of how I'm used to. So I kind of create a chain for the clavicle just as its own. I don't know if that makes that big of a difference. It does for some skeletons. And then from the upper arm to the hand. See, I don't want to include these though, so I want to do that, and then to the hand. Right click, and that's the left arm. Okay, and then I'll do same thing on the other side. Actually, I think there's a way to mirror everything, which, yeah, completely, yeah, you can actually mirror chain. Let me see if that works. Left arm. I want to mirror chain. Right clavicle. Boom. Yes. This is actually something I learned recently. So, do the same for this. Mirror chain. Just double check, because sometimes it doesn't mirror correctly. Look at this. I don't want the base breast. Right arm. The upper arm. And now I made it go to the thumb, which is a little weird. I want this to go to the hand. Base right hand. Wait. Yeah. We'll see. We'll kind of like have to troubleshoot this a little bit. Because this skeleton is a little bit different from the epic skeleton or Mixamo skeleton, because it's a custom rigged one. Okay, but these are kind of like the basics ones. You could do it for the fingers, which I normally would do, to get the hand tracking on there. But let's see. See how he's got like this crazy hand system. This would be like the left middle. Middle finger, basically. Here's the index. I'm not gonna include the end bone. Left index. Left ring. Left pinky. So this is a little tedious, but it's actually pretty straightforward. You're just, creating chains for the bone system. See what happens if I mirror. See, it doesn't really mirror correctly. The right middle button, right middle finger is now being done to the thumb. Right middle to the third. Okay, I'm just gonna do this manually because I don't want to deal with that. Right middle, right ring. Right thumb. Right index. Right pinky. Do we have a right thumb? Yeah, we have a right thumb. Okay. Save this. Don't worry, you only have to do this once for the animations, and then we'll be able to bring in all kinds of animation for this character. So we created the IK rig for this skeleton, and there should already be a IK rig for the mannequin here. See, IK mannequin. And we're basically going to match those two IKs up. And the way we're going to do that is creating a retargeter. So let's put it into our folder. Right click, animation, retargeting, IK retargeter. In the RTG, and you want to say this is making animation from Manny to Glad, right? We're retargeting animations from that have been created for the mannequin to make it so that it's being used for this character, Glad. Alright, so source IK, meaning the source that you're retargeting from. And luckily we already named it in that way, so it's going to be the IK mannequin. Okay, and then you're retargeting to the target, which will be Glad. Alright, zoom out a little bit. Got the giant. Over here, the target mesh offset, you can go to the X value here. You can just like move it, because I want to see side by side. Their poses should be matching, so if your character is not in the right pose, you're going to have to repose. Okay, so if you go to this tab here, chain mapping, you'll see this is where you want to match up the chains, right? The target chain, meaning his chain right here that we created earlier, and the source chain, so what came with this one. And that's why I named it the way it was, because it kind of matches up exactly to how they have it. But you just want to make sure these are all matching up. It doesn't matter what you called it, it should reference the same chain. Right left thumb, right clavicle, right arm, right middle. Okay. And then if you go to your asset browser, but let's go into idle. Okay, now we have an animation so you can see how it looks and make adjustments if necessary. So, I mean, there's something that's weird about the legs, or actually the foot. It's really the foot. See how the foot is like kind of jacked a little bit? What else? Also, I noticed that our character is like, it's kind of like stuck there, right? Well, let's get these animations out and we'll see what happens. Okay, so get all the animations that you want, which are all the MF and MM, and you're gonna say export selected animation, characters, clad. I'm actually gonna make a new folder in here, anim, and export these. Oh yeah, okay, so something's going wrong here. The legs are going, but the body is not moving. Did that do anything? That's crazy. Okay, so let's try something. We're gonna go into our IK and we're gonna change it to the hip as the retarget root. Set retarget root. Okay. Let's see if this changes anything. Oh, that looks a lot better actually. See? Okay. So let's do it that way. Delete all of these animations. And we're going to do the whole retargeting one more time. Okay, so I think this is good enough. It might help to create the IK goals. That might make this retargeting a little bit better. But I think this is pretty good, at least for our previs. I mean, I don't know why his head is slightly shifted. It's not like completely straight. But we can correct that actually if we really needed to. So for this previs, I think, at least for this demonstration, this is fine. But essentially we would go in and, you know, kind of fix up a couple things. Export selected. Put it into our animation folder here. So this is after we've corrected the retarget root of the animation. And now if we look at this, look at that. Now his whole entire body is being moved. Okay, this is great. This is great. We've got animation on our character. For this shot specifically, we really only need his idle, right? So now if you go into this animation button, we just need an idle from him. See? Now he's just idling. See? There's a little bit of movement from him. But yeah, this is pretty much how you would add a whole bunch of animation. And you know why all that other stuff is showing up is because we never switched this stuff off. Asset details, we want to get rid of this stuff. Just delete that. Okay, so now we won't get confused when we're looking at animation. So MM, I think it's like, you know, without the root motion, which doesn't matter for this idle animation. Okay, so now I actually want to correct his pose a little bit. From here, what I'm going to do is go to animation, and I'm going to, what is it? No, go to the skeletal mesh part, and you're going to do bake to, no, edit with control rig. From here, say create. So what this does is it actually bakes the animation file onto the FK control rig, and then you're gonna go here and add an additive layer. Well, actually, you don't really need to do that. Let's go here, right click, additive. Alright, so now this will be an additive layer on top of this, which I believe, well, let's try it out real quick. So I want his arm to, okay, before you do anything, we're going to key all of these. I'm gonna move his arm down a little bit. I don't know if he's moving anymore. Is he? No, he's not even moving anymore. So I want this to be active. Ah, now we got it. Okay, so make sure this is active and that this is the additive layer. And actually his arm looks a little bit weird right now. And I think you can hide the the bones. Well, anyways, you can press G. Not when you're there though. G, and then that'll turn it off so you can kind of see it. And you actually can go into unlit mode. This might be easier to actually animate. See how his arm is actually in his body right there? Anyways, I wanna why is his arm all the way back there? His hand. He's actually going to be holding a sword, so maybe that could be the pose. Okay, but you see how it kind of moved that way? I'm just going to delete this keyframe, delete that keyframe. Now we have his hand kind of in the right place, although I still want this. Forearm. Where's his forearm? It's that one. So FK is not the best, but for small adjustments like this, it's totally fine. I do recommend getting an actual control rig set up if you're going to be doing a lot more animation. If you're actually doing like a final film. Since this is just going to be previs, we can be, a little bit rough around the edges. Left forearm. So this is a weird glitch that when I select the bone, it doesn't show me the control on the bone. It should show where that bone is. There's another thing that I would probably set if I was going to be doing more of this, which is go to Edit, Editor Preferences. There's like this arc ball. Enable arc ball rotate. Alright, now if I click in the middle of this rotation thing, I can move his arm like that instead of having to always use the controls. Just gives you a little bit more flexibility. I want his arm looking like that though. I think the upper arm here. And you know, like, we're actually gonna mocap this. So this is really just me being like a little crazy about having this look right. But it does show you how to actually, you know, animate this stuff, or at least pose it. Push G, and now you see how it made the keys here? That's really important, because if you don't do that, then it's not going to be correct. So now if I go back into our view, so now this is what he's going to look like. Whoa, he kind of moved actually. Okay, so I don't want his arm to move exactly like that. And that's because we still have these keys here. So delete those keys. Now his, okay, so he still has, so this is actually getting a little bit more into animation. Okay, but now you see, now his pose is correct, right? And then we're gonna put a sword in his hand right there. Just being nitpicky, I like this to be in 24p because it's more filmic. Alright, cool. So we have this shot set up. Alright, cool. So now check this out. If you go back into your cinematics folder, remember how we have this other two-shot kind of thing? I'm gonna create another, what is it, cinematics level sequence, and I'm just gonna call this the master shot. Okay, now if I come into the master shot, I can add a track, and basically we do subsequence track. You know, you have the Gladiator teaser. Well, okay, hold on. Let's add a camera cut track first, or else we're not going to see anything. Right? Because now you can go here. See, there's the two shots that we have. You can extend this shot here. Let's go 500 frames. So that we have a much longer shot. Drag this end. Oh, the other thing you can set here, make sure this is 24p. Okay, so now you have that. You can add another subsequence track and get the cool shot in here. That was a little weird, the cut. See, he kind of like, flickered a little bit. Probably because we have a weird thing over here. You know what, let's start this like that. Let's see what happens there. Okay, so that's pretty much how you get your shots into the sequencer. We got animation onto our character here, and we're starting to build our master sequence. Alright guys, well that concludes this first episode of how to create previs for film and TV inside Unreal Engine. And leave a comment, hit that like button, and let me know what you thought of this. I will continue to make more if people want to see it, and kind of show you the rest of this workflow of, you know, getting our characters in here and animating them, creating more shots, adjusting lighting, and also maybe using the mocap suit to bring in some animation and really build out the scene for our previs. And then also how to render this out and get it into DaVinci, where we can add some sound design, dialogue, etc. All right, thanks guys.